Just Beachy with Deb
and Wendy.
Growing up in the 70s in our Toronto Beach neighborhood was a time unlike any other. Bell-bottom pants, high handlebars and banana seats, water buffalo sandals, crazy adventures, and home with the streetlights. We have lots of stories to share.
So sit back and join Deb and I while we reminisce about the people and times that shaped our lives.
And a barrel and a heap, and I'm talking in my sleep about you, hard sleeping to having trouble sleeping, 'cause I love you, a bushel and a peck, you bet your pretty neck I do.
Hello.
Hello.
So, playing that song, it came up on my iTunes the other day, and I have it there because of nostalgia reasons, mainly because of my mom.
That's right.
She loved that song, and she would go around singing it a lot.
And hugging us and, dancing with us.
Yeah, and I have goosebumps right now just by playing that for all the listeners out there.
So you are on the right channel. We are Just Beachy with Deb and Wendy.
Just Beachy with Deb and Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
That wasn't bad.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
I'll have to listen back to that and put something, little Hawaiian guitar behind it or something.
Ukulele. And kazoo. Can't forget the damn kazoo.
And chicken.
And tonight, after talking all week about what are we going to talk about, on the next podcast, and that we realized we haven't made homage to our mother,
no,
Eileen, and
yes.
And she left us back in 2017, and but there's just so much that obviously memories come running back, especially when you hear this song about growing up, and just a lot of the good times that we had, even after our dad passed, and how she strived to make ends meet and make it feel like we weren't going without.
That's right. Yeah, she did a lot. It was not an easy go for her, with Dad alive even, because money was always short. And, raising 4 kids and buying a house, and they scrimped on a lot of things so that we could have clothing and shoes and things like that. Definitely. But Mom was, she was redheaded and had a temper to match sometimes. The Irish side of her family.
Yes, definitely. And another, and I we want you guys to kind of think about your moms, and, if there was anything that they did to embarrass you as you were growing up. And I think could have been her singing to us and doing, as you've all seen the peppermint patty dance.
You've all seen Charlie Brown Christmas, right? And they're dancing on that slanty floor, which actually Charles Schultz was really embarrassed about. But we love it. It's part of our culture. But there's one person doing is it peppermint patty? She's putting up her shoulders and she's slouching, putting up her shoulders in time with the music. That was our mother. That's how she danced. Although back in Halifax days, when she was young, she was trained as a dancer by the same person that trained Ruby Keeler, major Hollywood starlet.
And you have to be old to know who Ruby Keeler is now. If we have any younger folks in the audience, you may not, so you may want to look her up. But she was, she was big in, I guess, the 30s, right? Well, obviously.
Yeah, 30s, 40s. His mom was born in 30.
Although Mom didn't have any tap dancing skills, I believe, that she ever showed us.
Well, she did. She did tap dance, but she didn't have the tap dance shoes, which is probably a very good thing. That would have driven us crazy. Hey, let's dance. No, she loved music. She had a heart that was joyful, but life kind of weighed her down a lot. Mm-hmm. And she was a nurse. She trained at the infirmary in Halifax, where her where she grew up in Halifax, Dartmouth area, and came to Toronto, worked at the East General Hospital, now the Michael Garand Hospital. Practiced on us because she was a stay-at-home mom when we came along, and I am a major hypochondriac because of her. What's wrong, Deb? I got a sore throat. Let me see. Oh my God, you could have mumps. She would scare the crap out of me. Let's see that rash. Oh dear. She had two home remedies though. If she didn't call the doctor, it was baking soda, like if you got stung or something, to draw out the poison.
And it worked.
If you got bit by a rattlesnake or something, So yeah, baking soda and water,
yep.
which I actually did on my birthday because I got stung by a wasp, and I said, "Hey, Mom, look what I'm doing." Or, as Wendy discovered the other day, hot water and salt.
Yes.
How's your foot?
It's better.
For blisters.
But growing up, yeah, we had more blisters on our heels than I care to remember. And Mom would get the hot water and the salt and a tub that I think we had specifically.
I think we also had popcorn in that tub. It was a mixing bowl.
No dishwashers back then, just sterilized. But yeah, and we would soak our heels in the salt water, and man, it hurt. But what did she say? No sting 'em, no hurt 'em,
no cure 'em. Yeah,
no cure 'em, no sting 'em, no cure 'em. That's right.
But she had that side of her that, it's not like she delighted in us having a little bit of sting or whatever, but she would light her cigarette and she'd say things like, "Ever seen a match burn twice?" And then she'd put the hot match on your hand or something that was still kind of hot. I mean, hello, aren't you a nurse? Aren't you supposed to save souls? I mean, it wasn't really all that hot.
Oh man.
But she teased that way.
Yes, she did.
Well, everybody's got the mom things, right? You got your stories about your mom. Our mom was very well loved in the community. She had lots of friends, lots of neighbors that she'd either be over there or they'd come to us and hang out. And she was not a morning person. My friends can attest to that. And one friend, dear Evie, who would call for me every morning on the way to school, and Mom was hardly ever up. Or else she'd come racing down the stairs, half asleep in her nightie or her house coat, saying, "Are you guys okay? Did you have breakfast?"
As we're heading out the door.
We're cool.
And it's not that we didn't try to wake her up. Actually, I can remember one Mother's Day, my younger brother and I made her breakfast to surprise her. And we made, the whole toast, scrambled eggs, bacon, everything. And we went up and we woke her up and she's like, 5 more minutes. And it's like, and we go downstairs and we're waiting for her to come downstairs. And time just kept going and we gave up and ate her breakfast.
Right.
And then she comes downstairs and we told her, she goes, "Well, why didn't you wake me up?" It's just like, we did.
That is so mom. Oh, she had a slow wick. When she got angry, she got really angry. And we knew she was really angry when she let out the code word. Yeah. She would say, "Jehovah," and she'd launch out of her chair, and we would go scattering. It's like, what are we doing?
Run for your life.
It's the word.
Yeah. Oh God.
We don't usually end up vacuuming or doing the dishes or doing something punitive.
Yeah. Without being told, we just knew we had to.
I'll go make my bed. You go clean the sink quick.
But do you remember though, she also, we come through our love of sweets naturally. Grampy, I think I mentioned earlier how he had the Willow packet boxes of chocolates.
Yeah. He was a
Mom
chocoholic.
always had a box of chocolates under her bed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. We always knew where the stash was kept.
That's right.
But she always had to have something sweet in the house, nearby. And she was the best baker and cook. She could do both.
You inherited that. I am a crap baker. I do not bake well. Nothing ever. No, I gave up long ago.
I guess I can do both, and Grammy could do both.
Graham was a great baker. Yeah. Her bread, oh my gosh,
can taste
like butter. Her bread.
Well,
she tried to teach us once.
Oh, did
Graham, yeah. She gave us step-by-step instructions. Never the same as Graham's.
No, it had. I don't know. It must have been that down east flair, but there was a secret to it or something. Because I know I for all the bread recipes I've tried, I can't replicate it to this
No.
day. But one thing I did though replicate recently was Mom's orange cake.
Ooh.
That was so good. Just a white cake with the orange in it and the orange frosting with the orange rind like grated into it. That's Mom and her butter tarts.
Her butter tarts.
She would have butter tarts sitting on the counters some afternoons when we came home from school, and they were gone. Like, I swear, within the 5 to 10 minutes, we were all home. Like, I don't think she doubled the batch. It was just like that dozen, and they were gone.
They were gone. They were really good. They could have competed with all the fine butter tarts in the.
Oh, well, I have the
ovens.
recipe, and all it is, and it's so simple. It's a cup of brown sugar, 1 egg, and 2 tablespoons of butter. And that's it. That's the filling. Don't do the corn syrup. Don't do any of that stuff.
But her crust was good too.
Yeah, her pastry is really good.
Yeah. So
But it was just simplicity.
It's the combo. Yeah.
They were so good.
Yeah. And she didn't add raisins or
No,
it was just
you don't need that stuff.
just your basic butter tart.
Yeah, butter tot. They were
Butter.
like butter.
It was like butter. Yeah.
Butter.
I'm tasting it even as you're saying it. And she made pineapple upside down cake.
Yeah.
That was a favorite for Dad. And it would always smell so good. We'd be home and we know that she was baking something delicious in there.
Yeah. I don't think she did a lot of cookies. I don't recall cookies really, except at Christmas time, her shortbread.
Oh, shortbread. And she did date squares, but she did, you're right. She did more fancy thing. That was a Christmas thing.
Oh, date squares.
Yeah,
she made really
date squares.
Can you tell that we're kind of salivating?
She was a good baker.
And her spaghetti sauce. I wish that I knew what the secret was to her sauce. There was no canned sauce or that in it. I think she did it like from canned whole tomatoes but it was
tomato paste. But she would put stuff in the blender and fool us. She put cooked carrots, like vegetables that were like mush, but they would fit in with the whole theme of the spaghetti sauce. We had no idea.
Beef too, hamburger as well.
It was kind of sweet. It had a sweetness to it. It was very good. Yeah, she did put hamburger meat in.
And I have tried to make it and, kind of test it, and I can't get that taste. But I can taste it.
Yeah.
I know what I'm looking for, but I just haven't hit that mark yet.
Give it another try. You can. It was really, really good. I remember one, Dad was still alive, and I came home from school, and she was, of course, she cooked everything really long. So I knew it was a roast beef. It smelled like beef roasting in the oven. And like when she did a pork roast, it was like a 5-hour affair. She started the Christmas turkey the night before. I mean, we lived on really dry meat. Like it's almost like jerky by the time we got to it. But she had this beautiful smelling roast, which was unusual because it wasn't Sunday. And she must have got it on sale. So we're all around the table, and you guys are tucking in, and she had mashed potatoes, and it's like really good. And I took one bite of it, and the texture was off. And I sat back in the chair and I said, "What kind of beef is this?" And she said, "Oh, it's roast beef. It's really good." And I'm like, "I don't think so. This is not. There's something not right." And she finally confessed it was a beef heart.
Oh,
you ate it.
Yeah.
And she would cook liver and onions. I love the smell of cooking liver. Again, texture.
We had liver and onions a lot. Actually.
We did organ meat many times.
I guess it was the cheaper of the.
That's
meat.
exactly. We didn't. She didn't make us eat brains or anything, so that was pretty good.
But she did do, I think, like a blade roast every Sunday. And I can remember, especially like in the fall or when the days got darker earlier, and maybe you'd fall asleep on a Sunday afternoon watching the Bugs Bunny show, right?
Yeah.
And you'd wake up to the smell of the roast beef, and
she made a great stew as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's a good cook. A lot about Mom has to do with providing food for us.
And other things. It's the essentials of living.
Listen, she kept us alive. It was a good thing. And if we got stung or had blisters, she knew what to do.
I remember, though, when we'd be homesick and with a sore throat or whatever. And this was more, I think, after Dad passed away. And she'd call her doctor, Dr. Pascoe. And as soon as she hung up that phone, no matter how sick you were, you had to get up and out of bed and do some tidying up because she knew he was going to come. and for a visit. And sure enough, within 15 minutes, because he was at Coxwell and Danforth area, he would be coming out of his car with his medical bag, heading up the stairs. Or, it's like it was clockwork.
It's like Marcus Welby. It's like doctors that made house calls, and he was a sweetheart. He was really
Dr.
a lovely,
Pascoe.
lovely man.
He was my family doctor until 1984.
Wow.
So from the time 1961 was my year of birth. And I even have pictures from Mom in the hospital of him with me after I was born. Plus our mom, she was an avid gardener, and our grandmother as well, but it definitely skipped me.
They were kind of in a competition.
Maybe, because once spring came around, she was never in the house. No. She was more toned than she had ever been every year. Mm-hmm. She got a wonderful tan, and I think that's why we hate housework. Because we were kind of the ones that had to keep everything going and clean inside, because she was always outside. That was her joy. Yeah. That's where she kind of got lost.
Escape, yeah.
Yeah. And,
absolutely.
She had in the back, out front, beautiful, beautiful gardens.
Yeah.
Which we got to enjoy too, right? Mm-hmm. But like I said, we got stuck with all the housework. Yeah, for those that live in the beach and remember the Kingston Road Fruit Market. Yes. That's where Mom got all her flowers from. She would go up with her wagon and it would come back filled with flowers.
Top of Scarborough Road, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's still there too, right?
I think so. I don't know if it's the same people, but there's still a market there.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day when we get back to the beach together. Yeah. Before the snow flies.
Oh. We'll try. Well, I came up with another song that Mom also liked.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to play it. I won't play it at all, and I'll figure out where to cut it off. But this was a song she also used to sing and dance to at the same time. So
That's true.
Here we go.
I know a ditty, nutty as a fruitcake, goofy as a goose, and silly as a loon. Some call it pretty, others call it crazy, but they all sing this tune. Freshy dotes and dozy dotes and little lambsy divey, a kiddly-divey too wouldn't do. Freshy dotes and dozy dotes and little lambsy divey, a kiddly-divey too wouldn't do. If the words sound clear and funny to your ear, a little bit jumbled and jivey, sing Mare's eat oats and goats eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. Oh, Mare's...
Oh, well.
Oh. Anyways, that was another one of our mother's favorite songs.
Whatever that was.
Mare's Eat Oats.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. The last one I'll bring up, and I'm not going to play,
maybe
was especially before Christmas, was It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. She would be wrapping her gifts or put things under the tree and just tease us with that tagline the whole time, right? And
yeah.
Oh, Lord. But she also loved movies from the 40s.
Well, that's true. I stayed up more nights with her because CBC used to put on a late night movie.
Yeah.
And I remember the theme song was Malaguena, like that Spanish guitar song. And she loved Humphrey Bogart. She loved all of them, really. She loved the musicals. Please. She loved Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, the other Jimmy, the dancer. Oh, I can't think of his name. You Doodle Dandy.
Oh, Cagney.
Yeah, James Cagney.
Yeah.
She loved all those kind of movies. Clark Gable, yeah. And I actually remember too, in the little 6-inch screen TV she had in her bedroom.
Yeah, really, teeny tiny TV.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, she loved movies. She'd like to get out to take us to the movies that time too. And when she had the extra money, we'd see all the cartoons. She took me to see Mary Poppins.
Wow. Remember she took our younger brother to Jaws, not knowing what to expect at the Fox Theater.
And that would have been interesting.
I think she came home and went, gee. Oh
my goodness. Yeah. Oh. She would have the hi-fi going. Mm-hmm. When I guess when she was talking to Grandma all day, but she liked a lot of different kinds of music.
Well, and our neighbors, the Stapleys that were attached to the left of us,
right.
They loved Glenn Miller. And
All the big
every
bands.
Saturday night, like, it came through the wall. They weren't very well built houses, but man, and I think that made me a fan. Even my kids, like, I'll play a certain song at Glen Miller, like Perfidia or whatever,
Mhm.
and it's just like, who is that? Because they're timeless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I guess he played it loud because we were kind of loud. It was probably a firewall.
Loud? Nah.
A 1970s firewall. I'll just listen to my music really loud, and I won't hear the next door neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, she loved all that kind. Like, can you remember the stereo, which everyone would have had? Remember when you had the big, huge stereo
cabinet? Yeah.
that you could, like, load up 7 albums, and it would.
Yeah, it would have the turntable and a radio and a place to put the vinyl records, and it took up the whole side of the wall. It was a very small room.
Yeah.
Now, when Mom and Dad bought that, they brought it. It was, I think, around Christmas. Got it home, or it got delivered, and it came with about 5 or 6 different record albums, maybe more. And 2 of them were the Living Strings, and then there was like the hits of the day, which had Mashed Potatoes and Speedy Gonzales, and so it came with a whole bunch of songs right off the bat. Dad enjoyed country music, so we would get him record albums for Christmas and stuff. Charlie Pride, he loved Charlie Pride. Loretta Lynn.
Rose Garden. Oh, that was Lynn Anderson, sorry.
Yeah, that's right. And they would watch, Mom would tolerate him watching Hee Haw. No, that's love.
But one thing, Mom, she wasn't a big drinker, but she always had a bottle of sherry under the sink.
It was Bright's sherry.
Bright's sherry,
yeah.
Right? Very sweet, not the thin, but really thick.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the evening around 9:30, 10, she would have just an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'd go, let's order a pizza. And it was, let's do it. Because pizza wasn't a dinner thing back then, right?
No.
Unless you had the Chef Boyardee box mix or something that you made.
Which we did.
Yes. And, but I can remember ordering, and for those that live and grew up in the beach, I believe it was at Neville and Queen. It was called Apollo Pizza. And it was the best. I can still taste the cheese. Talk about taste a lot tonight. And remembering the taste buds are awake.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. And we just did pepperoni, didn't do anything fancy. But it didn't happen often, but it was such a treat.
Yeah.
When she did do that.
Yeah. No.
And a nice memory of us all sitting around in the little living room eating pizza at 10:30.
Watching. Yeah, really.
And it was because of us sitting around that little living room one night that, remember the Streakers?
Yes.
When that was the thing.
Oh my God.
It was neighbor and I think her friends about 4 houses up the street, and it was winter. And we're sitting in at the front little living room of our house looking out the window, and it was like 11:30 at night.
It was late.
And all of a sudden, probably Mom went, Jehovah. But we're going, oh my God. And
they were Starkers. They were without clothing.
And one was one of the ladies was very well endowed, shall we say.
You got a memory of that still.
Oh my God. That was the weirdest night ever. I don't think we ever saw them come running back. But
I wonder where they went.
They just kept going. Like, oh my God.
Down to the lake.
Maybe they were part of the Polar Bear Club back then.
Maybe. They were just a little bit late or early. Wow. Yeah, I do remember that. That was something you didn't expect to see on Scarborough Road.
We saw a lot of things out of that front little living room window.
That's probably another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at our time.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Time flies when you're talking about shortbread. Date squares and
oh my gosh,
and Jehovah.
Yeah, no, Mom. She was a fine lady who had, when you think about it, 40 years old, loses her husband and has 4 kids, ages 15 down to 5, right?
Yeah.
And
no means of support.
Except her parents or grandparents, Grampy and Grammy, because our dad's parents had died many years. Well, we never met them, so
yeah.
But Grampy and Grammy, they were just like at Wolverley and Danforth area, so they were always within a phone call away.
That's right.
Not a text back then, but a phone call.
No, that's right. She did the best she could.
Yep. Oh, for
I recognize that, and It couldn't have been easy. And, you know, living on a very small mother's allowance every month.
Yep. Yeah, so I think she probably started work in her late 40s anyways, probably 49. But that was her first venture back out into the workforce after being a stay-at-home mom for many, many years. And she really came out then. Like, she came out of her shell. She started to thrive. And she probably never would have had, when Clyde came back into her life, to move forward, right? Because she would have been stuck where she was. Yeah. Still grieving Dad after all those years, right?
Yeah. She was, it was the best thing for her. Mm-hmm. And then she got out more. And I remember picking her up. She was working at Eaton's, and she'd be
Shoppers World Danforth in the cash office.
We've all worked there at one point or another. And she was joyful. Like, she'd have lots to tell me about, and she was getting friendly with some of the people there in the office, and it was good. It brought her out of the world that she'd been in for so long.
Yeah, no, it was really good for her.
It's been good reminiscing about Mama.
Definitely, yeah. Had to bring her into the fold because we kind of, this is what our 10th episode?
Yeah, it's episode 10.
Oh my gosh. We've waited this long. So, yeah. So, to you, Mom, we'll have a little toast. Cheers.
Toasty cheers. Ping. Air ping.
Ping.
Yippee. Yes.
So hopefully, this is, kind of made you think about you growing up and if your mom did any crazy stuff. And once again, please go to our Facebook group. That's right. Sorry.
We've had Kimmy telling about her background, and I know so many of you that are members now. Just tell your story. Tell about your mom.
Yeah.
Talk about your mom. Put pictures up. We're happy to see them and celebrate whatever you want to celebrate.
Or anyone that knew our mom, because there's a few of you too that would have known Eileen.
That's true.
Share any good memories.
Good memories. Good memories
that you may have of her. People have been posting.
Yep.
And yeah, the other one's still up there, so we're going to kind of stray, I think, a little bit more away from that. Though we'll put the podcast up there, but we're not going to be posting to that anymore.
No, we're not.
Other than the podcast,
we're going to stay in the group.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been having fun. And someone posted today. I can't think her name. Maybe it was Sherry.
I think it was Sherry.
About the legs pantyhose.
Yes, the legs pantyhose.
I can see the commercial now too. It's like, oh my god!
And she also posted
an egg.
Didn't she also post the picture of Fuzzy Wuzzy?
Yes,
she's a very good researcher.
Yes, so thank you for that.
Wendy's going through her pictures madly these days. I've got to get mine out of the closet and take a look.
So much fun. Well, thank you for listening. Episode 10, and homage. Is that the right word?
Homage
to our mama, Eileen. And have a great week.
I'm going to sing us out. Thank you for listening to whatever this was.
And remember when, just beachy with Deb and Wendy. See ya.